So the next kit we're going to pot up is the white forget-me-not planter kit. Now this is going to come in a brand new pot for us, so we've never had this pot before. It is a beautifully, delicately scalloped pot in this sort of dove, soft grey. I'm so in love with it. It's really beautiful and I hope you really like it too. So in your kit you'll have this pot and its matching saucer, and you'll have your 3 forget-me-not plants, you'll have your moss, 3 different types of moss, and your gravel and your compost and your birch twigs. So that's what comes in your kit. And I'm going to show you how to sort of pot it up and then go through some care with you, so you know how to look after it. So we're going to add in our gravel to our pot. So just add in the brown paper bag that you have in your kit, just add that all in. So the gravel is there just for drainage, to sort of stop the roots sitting in water for prolonged periods of time. And then we're going to add in about just under an inch of soil on top of the gravel. Now the soil you get in your kit is really really good quality, highly sort of gritted compost, so it's great for drainage. So if you see all the sort of little pebbles and the grit inside, that's just to make sure that the water kind of seeps down really easily and any excess can just be discarded. Okay, so the 3 forget-me-not plants. Now I've just gone through this in the previous tutorial for the smaller kits and the trios. But the most important thing to notice when you receive your plants, you might find that they have little sort of brown flowers on. Now the reason for this is because forget-me-nots, their turnover of their little florals is really quick. It's about 2 days. So what you'll find is you might need to deadhead on arrival. So as soon as you get your plants, you might need to deadhead. So simply pinch out any kind of brown flowers that you might find. So there's one here, and I'm simply just going to pull the brown bit and it will come out of its sort of like little cup. It's a really strangely satisfying job. And that just then encourages more blooms to, more flowers to bloom basically. So you can just deadhead your plant. So it's completely normal if you receive your plant and it's got a few little brown flowers on. It's completely normal, I promise you it's not dead. And then the same with the leaves. If you find your plant probably has some really kind of unattractive leaves around the bottom near the soil, that's again normal. You simply just pull them off really easily. Don't be scared of it, you can just tug at them and they just come off like that. It just sort of keeps your plant nice and healthy, but you know, it's just normal for the leaves around the base just to be a bit sort of tired, might be a bit yellow like these ones are. They can just come off and then your plant looks instantly healthier. So yeah, there's one here. I'm just going to take that off and just give them a little tidy. We do our best to sort of send plants out looking as healthy as possible, but it might just be excuse me, in that sort of day that it's in the box traveling to you, that you might find you get some sort of tired looking leaves and some brown flowers, but that's normal. Anyway, so give your plants a water when they arrive, and then after we've added in our compost over our gravel, you just simply take them out of the plant pot and just sit them on top. Now when I plant in a planter, I like to sort of aim my plants outwards. So I'm not sort of sitting them upright, so they're all sort of like this. I like to put them slightly just leaning out towards sort of the rim of the pot. It just makes it sit so much sort of nicer, and it makes it look more aesthetically pleasing in my opinion. Okay, so we've got our 3 little forget-me-not plants in now, and now I'm just going to add in the rest of the compost in the gaps around them. So you'll probably have sort of 3 big gaps and then maybe a small gap in the middle. And then just gently kind of compress the compost down. And then just gently push. Okay. Lovely. And now we're going to add in our moss. So in your kits you get 3 different types of moss. You get the bun moss, which is this kind of chunkier one, the sphagnum, which is the sort of dry two-tone one, and then you get your flat moss, which is the one that looks like a woodland floor. So we in our kits we put more of the flat moss, purely because it's just a little bit of a simpler moss to use. So you break it up into little bits and then simply place it on top of the compost. And then I'm going to take some bun moss and take off the root system off the back, which is just that brown bit, and you just pinch that off. I'm going to add a little bit of sphagnum moss, and again you'll just have little touches of this in your kits. It just adds a different sort of colour dimension. Okay, and now I'm going to add in my birch twigs. So you can use secateurs or scissors, or you can just snap it off with your hands if you want to. I'm just going to take some little lengths like so, taking everything off the main stem, and then I'm simply just going to place that in. It doesn't need to go really far down into the compost because it doesn't need a water source. It's dry, so it just needs to sort of go somewhere where it's going to kind of sit and stay secure. And you can do various heights. And that is about it for potting up. In terms of care, so I apologise if I'm boring you because you've listened to the previous video on the smaller kits, but with forget-me-nots, they need to be placed somewhere sunny, but they don't need sort of full sun, so sort of indirect sun. So a sunny windowsill, an island or a table in your kitchen is perfect. They need to be kept damp but not waterlogged. I find that they are quite thirsty plants, so I would say water sort of twice a week. And the best way to do that really is to bring your plant up, put it in the sink, water it, let the water go all the way down and drain out of the drainage hole in the pot into the saucer, and then discard the water that's in the saucer so they're not sat in sort of water for a prolonged period of time. So keep them damp, relatively sunny, but it doesn't need to be, you know, a south facing room. It can be northwest, which is where I keep mine, and they're absolutely fine. Deadhead the flowers when they go brown, as I sort of explained. When you get your plants, they might have little brown flowers. So I've got one here, for example, so I just literally just pinch it out, and that's all you do, and then that just encourages those little buds to bloom. Take off any sort of unattractive looking leaves, any that have kind of gone brown around the edges. That's normal, just discard them, just pull them off and get rid of them, and that's about it. So water sort of twice a week, see how it goes. If it's looking really tired and kind of limp, give it a drink. And if you find that it's not loving the windowsill or place that you've put it, try somewhere else and just see how it gets on. But they are a relatively easy thing to grow in the house. But of course, if we have a beautiful heat wave in April, which, you know, sometimes does happen, you can pop them in the garden, of course, and enjoy them. If you're, you know, having a coffee outside or having dinner in the garden, gosh, that would be nice. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy your white forget-me-not plant.